Hello everyone and welcome to Chemistry 1411. My name is Sean Ridlin and I will be your instructor for the course. So this will be a Summer 1 1411 course and it will be held completely online. So the first thing I want to do with you is just go over the syllabus as we would normally do in class. So first right here up top you can see my name, my email. That's the best way to get in contact with me, whether it be to set up a virtual office meeting or just to ask a question, anything like that. Anything you need, feel free to email me. If you're stuck on a sapling question, which we'll get to in a little bit, feel free to screenshot it and send it to me. Anything like that is perfectly okay. So here's our original meeting times. So this was originally supposed to be a night class. Obviously, we're meeting online now. And so while we're talking about that, I just wanted to say a lot of you have been asking about, when are we going to be meeting? And honestly, the way that we're going to do this is I'll post the recordings for you, and you can pretty much work on your own time. Okay, so you're not going to be beholden to any certain time of the day. Okay, and we'll get to some things that are time gated or some things that do have a time requirement based on them. But in terms of what time of day you participate in the lectures or watch the lectures, that's really going to be up to you. Okay, so you do have some freedom there. So if you work or your schedule changes, something like that, don't worry, you'll be able to fit everything in, hopefully still. Okay, office hours, I haven't quite decided on those. I'm going to try to do them at least once a week, maybe more if I see that there's demand for it. I haven't quite decided what time. I'm thinking about maybe Wednesday evenings, something like that, during this normal class meeting time. That way, if you had your schedule set up, you can still attend those. Okay. So let's just move right along here. Moving down to the text that you need. So this this molecular approach by Tro, this is sort of what the guideline for the class is. So this is the official textbook of the class. That's what I'll be using. So if I refer to chapter 1, that's the book I'm talking about. If you have an older version of this, say if you took the class last year or the year before, something like that, that book will work perfectly fine. Or if you have any just general chemistry textbooks, as long as it's written for the college level, that will be perfectly acceptable for this class. They all have pretty much the same information. So if you've got a cousin or a friend that took chemistry and they can loan you their book, that will work perfectly well for this class. Okay, so I'm never going to assign you, do chapter 1 problems, the odd problems or something like that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, but just know that if you use a different book, it's kind of your responsibility to go find this section that discusses what we're talking about. So I can't obviously go into your houses and look at what book you're using. Okay, that being said, there's also plenty of free online versions, so OpenStax and LibreText. I have links to those chemistry-specific books, on the Blackboard for you. These are nice because you can search through them. I think it's OpenStax that is a lot of books sort of crammed together, just put all together where they've taken the best parts of them and put them all in one book, and it's searchable. These I think are really handy if you just want to know more about a subject, or maybe you forget an equation, or maybe you remember the name of the equation but you can't remember the equation itself, something like that. Okay, so those are good resources for you. Obviously including Google, all that good stuff. That's all available to you. Okay, so don't feel like you have to order this book off Amazon or anything like that. If you just have a chemistry textbooks, that will work, or these 2 online sources will work just fine. So the one thing you do have to purchase will be sapling learning. Okay, so I believe it's $42 for the students. So this is how we're going to do homework. This is the only thing I'm requiring you to purchase. Normally you would also be purchasing a lab book, but since we're in a little bit different times now, this is the only thing you need to purchase is just this sapling learning. And there's some more description there, but basically just go to this link and find my name and all that good stuff. For the lab portion, we are going to use a program called LabFlow. It's actually made by the people that made sapling. Okay, so it's they're kind of very trusted people, so this is why we've decided to go with them. This one is going to be new to me as well as to you. So do bear with me if I have to kind of do some searching to answer your questions and that kind of thing. But hopefully that'll be a good experience. From what I've seen so far, I think you'll really get a lot out of that. It was originally meant to be sort of a supplemental thing where you would watch it before coming to class, but they've actually adapted this for us so that you'll have as close as you can get to a full lab experience through an online class. In terms of the calculator you need, all you need is a scientific calculator. If you already have one, that's all you need. Don't feel like you have to go rush out and buy, a big fancy TI calculator. Just any scientific calculator will do. And we're only going to allow you to use the TI-30 specifically, but as long as it's a scientific calculator, I'm really okay with that. But we don't want it to have any programmable functions, in other words. So you can't use a graphing calculator. Okay. So most of this I'm going to leave for you to go over on your own. But I do want to touch some of the main points here. So you can read about the lab and everything like that. So classroom policies, all this good stuff you can find on your own. So the one thing I do especially want to point out to you here is how I'm going to track attendance. Okay, so what I need you to do is every day in Blackboard, so even, whatever the circumstance may be, as long as you can log into Blackboard, and I'll go in each day and say, okay, this person logged in, that's how I'm going to count you present or absent. So if you're logging into the Blackboard, I'm going to assume that you're keeping up with the class and that you're keeping up with the lectures and all that good stuff. Okay, so make sure that you log into Blackboard each day. So obviously we have class Monday through Thursday. So you're going to want to log in every day, Monday through Thursday, and that's how I'll keep track of attendance. I have to have some way of doing that, so that's how I plan to do it. And that will count as both for attending the lecture and attending the lab. I'm going to assume that if you're logging into Blackboard, you're actively participating in the class. Okay, so just in terms of attendance. Okay, so that'll count as both. That will count as, So that will count as logging, or that will count as attendance for the lecture part. And then, so for the lab part, since they are separate, I want you to log into LabFlow for attendance for the lab. So log into Blackboard for attendance for the lecture, log into LabFlow for attendance for the lab. And that'll tell me that you are actively participating in the class. Okay, so LabFlow and Blackboard will be your attendance. A lot of this you can kind of go over on your own. So this will be the name of the LabFlow course that you should be able to find. So Summer 2020, Trinity River, Tarrant County, Trinity River, Summer 2020, and then Chem 1411. And that should probably have my name on it as well. Let me double check that. So at the time of this video, I may not have had the full link yet. But make sure that it has my name on it, and make sure it has our section number. Okay, so I can update this in the syllabus for you guys, but just make sure it has my name in the section number. Don't enroll into another one because your grades will go somewhere else, obviously, right? Okay, so that will be the lab portion. And please do go over this. There's some stuff in here that you really need to know. The things that pertain to it in class, meeting class, obviously don't apply, so you don't have to wear safety goggles, obviously, while you're watching the lab videos. That would be ridiculous, right? Okay. But do make sure you go over a lot of this because there's good information there. In terms of grading criteria, so this is what everybody wants to know, right? So just basic A, B, C, D, F scale, 89.5 above, it will be an A, etc. So pretty much standard course stuff. In terms of how I'm going to find your grade. Okay, so we're going to have 4 lecture exams. Those will be 45%, so the majority of your grade. Well, I'm not quite the majority, but close to majority. Okay, then you'll have your lecture homework. That's the sapling. Okay, you'll have a final exam, and then we'll have your lab. Okay, so all those things together will make up how I'm going to find your grade. Okay, and then all of that's broken down for you here. So you're going to have 4 major exams worth 45%, so a big chunk of your grade there. The one thing here, I am going to use Proctorio. Since we are doing an online class, there's really no way for me to monitor you in person. Okay, so we're going to use Proctorio. So in order for that to work, you have to have a working webcam. Okay, so if you, for some reason, don't have access to a laptop or a computer with a working webcam, the school has loaner computers for you. You should have received an email about that. If you need any help getting set up with that, please let me know. I'll do my best to help you get situated with that. You won't need that until the day of the exam, obviously, but that's, this is only a 5-week course, so that's going to come up really fast. Okay, so make sure you do take care of that. So you will need your calculator. You don't need a pencil in this case, but I would use some scratch paper and a pencil. Obviously, you'll need that. A photo ID, just show me your ID real quick if you have one. If you don't have it, then I understand that. If you're a new student or something like that, you may not have one yet. Okay, so you can't use your cell phone, anything like that during the test. Only you can take the test. If for some reason I suspect someone's taking the test for you, well, we'll deal with that later. But don't do that, because I am going to check and make sure it's really you. Okay, so if you don't have a school ID, if you could please hold up your driver's license or your high school ID, anything that you have that will show me that you're really you. Okay, because there's no way for me to really know otherwise. So please just hold up an ID so I can see you. Make sure it's you. Okay. So if for some reason you have an extreme emergency and need to take the exam on a different day, I'll try to accommodate you as best I can. In terms of the exams, I'll give you like 3 days to take them. Okay, so that, whenever you feel prepared to sit down, your house is quiet, all that good stuff, you can sit down and do it. I understand that there are some complications with doing everything online, and I want you to have the best chance to succeed. Okay, so most of these things you'll have a couple days to do them, but there are deadlines, so make sure you are keeping up with everything. The lecture homework, that will be sapling. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Your lab average. Okay, so there'll be reports, quizzes. There will be one formal report that's worth 5%, an original procedure worth 5%, and we'll talk about what exactly those things are when they get closer. You'll have a lab midterm and a lab final. Okay, and those will be done just like your lecture exams. Okay, so obviously all the lab stuff will be done through LabFlow, and most of the lecture stuff we'll do through Blackboard. Okay. So do make sure you pay close attention to the actual due dates on LabFlow. It may have changed since I wrote this, so just bear in mind that you need to double check. Most of the time I'm giving you more time than I would in a normal class. Okay, so just keep that in mind. There'll be a lab quiz for every lab that you need to do. There'll be, lab report, all that good stuff. But you'll see everything when you get into LabFlow. The formal report and the original procedure, again, I'll have nice descriptions for you later. Just know that they do exist, so you will be writing a formal report. And the original procedure is basically a formal report, but without data. Okay, so we'll talk about those later. Let's see. So important thing here, this is our lab schedule. Or not our lab schedule, our lecture schedule. Okay, so this will be what I do my very best to follow. So sometimes if I need to make the videos a little bit longer, I'll try to stick to 2 hours, but I'll try to adjust this as we go. This is my first time trying with this particular schedule, and obviously since we're online, we may need to shift these, but I'll try to keep as close to this as I can. You'll at least know what's coming and what we're doing based on this, and you'll know when the exams will be. Okay, so if for some reason I feel like I really need to push the exam dates, I can do that, but let's try to stick to this as best we can. Okay, and then your lab schedule here. Okay, so all of this will be on the LabFlow again. So we're going to follow this. We won't deviate from this whatsoever. The due dates may, fluctuate a little bit, so make sure you check those. But just so you know, those due dates are the same for all of the 1411 class, not just my classes. The only difference is that for you guys, since you are technically scheduled for a night class, I did extend those dates to the PM instead of being AM for you. So they were set to like 8 a.m., but I pushed them, so the other classes are 8 a.m., I pushed them to the PM for you guys, since you are signed up for a night class. I understand some of your schedules may be impacted by that. Okay, so your homework, and this will be the name of the sapling, so when you get into sapling, make sure you find my name in Summer 20 and 1411. So make sure you sign up for 1411, because you may also see the 1412 class. So don't sign up for that one. It'll be completely different material. Okay, so do make sure you sign up for that one. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so don't worry about signing that or anything like that. Okay, so I have another document prepared here that I will share with you on the Blackboard. But I just wanted to go over it with you real quick. Okay, so this list is just a basic list of things that I did my best to sort of cobble together a list of what the expectation is from you for day to day. Okay, so the first week, or first day really, so if you're watching this on Tuesday, this is kind of what I would like you to do for today. So I'm kind of giving you a break on the first day since there is a lot of stuff for you to kind of to do on your own here. So the first thing, make sure you go over the syllabus. Just look over it, make sure you understand what's going on with the class, make sure you understand the schedule. Look through the Blackboard. Just make sure you can navigate, make sure you can find the Blackboard first of all. If you're not in there for some reason, let me know. But make sure you look at the content area, so you'll find things like the PowerPoint slides. I'll be linking the videos, so obviously you found this one, so hopefully that's good. But I have a section there for the lecture videos, there's a section there for the lab. But go through that. I'll have a discussion board for you guys so you can talk with each other as you choose, so you can try to help each other. So just go through the Blackboard and make sure you can see everything, make sure you kind of get a feel for how everything's going to work. And I'll show you some of those areas in just a second, but just kind of go through it on your own, make sure you understand where everything is or can see where everything is. Make sure you sign up for Sapling Learning, get that going. That way, try it on the first day, and that way if you have any problem, you don't get too far behind. If it's a login type problem, you really need to contact Sapling. If it's something else, I can do my best to help you. Make sure you log into LabFlow. So sign up LabFlow, enroll in the course. Make sure you enroll in the Sapling course. Again, if it's a login issue, something like that, they're going to have to help you. But if it's an issue with you can't find the course or something like that, let me know. Okay, this next one here, number 5, make sure you attend a Virtual Science Learning Center tour. So the times for these, I have this copied to another document here. Let me find it. Okay, so these will be every day on the first week. Okay, so it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And these will be at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 6 p.m. Okay, and I will actually add that to this document so that you'll have those. But what they're going to do a virtual tour for you guys. What the SLC is I'll let them tell you more about it, but it's basically tutoring for you guys. Okay, forgive me if the audio jumps right here for a second. I needed to pause. I had a tickle in my throat. I believe I was talking about the SLC. So I'll pick back up with that. So the SLC, this bullet point 5 here. Again, the SLC is virtual. It's an actual room when you go to the building. But for here, it'll be just an online tutoring service for you. So the people that work there are well qualified. That's their main job. Okay, so most of them are full time. At least one or two of them are. But that's their job, is to help you guys with any kind of questions. They actually have students embedded in the classrooms this semester to kind of help them out. So any kind of questions you have, you can go there and get tutoring, and it's completely free. So they're there and just waiting for you guys to come visit them. But do make sure you go at least to one of those this week so that they can tell you more about it. And just as some incentive, because they really want you guys to come visit, and I would like for you to as well, I'm going to offer you 5 bonus points on an exam. Okay, so at the end of the semester, I will go and I will look at everyone's exam and see which one you need the most help on, and I will give you an extra 5 points on that. Okay, and they will give me a list of who attended and who didn't. Okay, so if you go, you get the points. If you didn't, you won't. Okay, it's just that simple. But do go and check them out. They are a very good resource that I think goes underused a lot. With that being said, during normal times, you can go to any campus SLC. So if you have one close to your house, obviously that doesn't make that big a difference right now. But if for some reason you were used to going to see one of them, you can probably still do that. I don't know for sure. But if that's something that any of you are interested in, please email me and I will find that information out for you. That hasn't been brought up, so I'm not quite sure if it still applies. But I know during a normal semester, you could go to any SLC on any campus that you wanted to. Okay, so if you are interested in that, just let me know. Okay, and then, so my last bullet here, I say just perform all daily tasks. And I broke down, so that's like kind of the first day, first week kind of stuff. But then down here, I broke down kind of what I think of as being the stuff you should do day to day. And so I came up with this list. I may have missed some things, but this is basically what I came up with. So you need to log into Blackboard and to LabFlow each day to be counted present for the class. So for the lab and for the class. Okay, so check your email. And the reason I write that is because if I need to communicate something with you, that's the only way I have to contact you, aside from making these videos, right? Okay, so just make sure you check your email, see if there's anything from me or any of your other professors, anything like that. Okay, so if I need to update you about the class or something like that, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so then you should watch the video lecture for that day. Okay, and I'll show you how to find those in just a moment. Make sure you go to LabFlow, complete the lab assignments for that day. Work on your sapling homework. Don't let it build up till the end. Okay, if you do that, you're going to be in trouble, I promise. But that should be a good study tool for you, the sapling homework. Start studying for the exam. Start early. We only have 5 weeks, so those exams are going to come up on you, come up faster than you expect, I promise. Since the class does move so fast. Visit the SLC if you need help. They're there and they're waiting, and it's free. So please do use that resource. And then if you need more help beyond that, you can contact me. So if you have a question, maybe you want me to, for instance, maybe you want me to undo a question on sapling homework or something like that. That stuff come to me. But if you have a question where you want them to help you figure out how to solve it, you can go to them, or you can email me as well. Okay, and if you want to set up office hours or something like that, we can do that as well. Okay, so I will post this little sheet on the Blackboard. I just came up with this today. I thought it would be helpful for you guys to have some guidelines or just a guide as to what it is you're supposed to do. I will leave this as a Word document for you. And that way, if there's a bullet point or a number that you come up with and that helps you, you can just add that in here. You don't have to ask me for a Word document or anything like that. I'll just give you the Word document. Okay? All right. The next thing I wanted to go over with you was the Blackboard site. Just to show you some of the key areas that you're going to be interested in. So come to your MyTCC, your web account, or WebAssign, whatever it is we call it here. Okay, come to your MyTCC and then find the class. Okay, so this is the page you'll be met with immediately. Okay, so if I do have some announcements that I want to sticky here or something like that, I'll put those here. Most of the time I'll email you, but I may also put them here. Okay, so then you'll find things like, so I've broken the sections down. So things like course materials, for instance. So here I have the syllabus, the formula sheet that you'll be using, sapling learning link, the enrollment key, so just my last name and then 1411. Here's the links to the 2 online textbooks I told you about. This is how to evaluate the class at the end of the term. This is how to set up Proctorio. So there's lots of stuff here for you, just things that are relevant to the entire course. Okay, then I have posted for you the lecture PowerPoints. Okay, so under lecture slides, I have the lecture PowerPoints for you. Okay, so this is the first 3 chapters here. Okay, so I think that's everything for the first exam. Okay, so those are there for you if you need them. If you want to follow along or make notes or print them. Most of my students tend to print them and then write on them. I think that's a great strategy if you're that kind of person. Okay, then down below, I have the lecture videos. So this is where I'll post the links to all of the lecture videos that I'm expecting you to follow along with. Okay, and so I just went ahead and put a link here. So the best way I've come up with to do this is to actually do it through YouTube. Okay, so that way you can watch it on your phone, your Xbox, your computer, wherever you are, you'll have access to them. It's very, it's quick, it's easy to scroll through. Okay, so it's much better than Blackboard in my opinion. As far as that's concerned, I think you'll have a much better time doing it this way. But you'll see the videos appear here. Right now I have everything private from my 1412 class, just to keep it a little bit cleaner for you guys so that everything's not getting in the way. Okay, I'm not trying to get clicks or anything like that. This is just the best way I've found to deliver this, and I think you guys will like it. I got a lot of good feedback last semester doing it this way, so I've decided to keep doing it that way. And I will go through, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. So I will go through and I will put the links to each individual video. But if you're a YouTube person and you want to just follow the channel, you can do it that way as well. Okay. Here I have a link to some practice worksheets. These are the ones I would normally give out in class. Okay, just for you to have some extra practice. Lab materials. Anything that's relevant to the lab, I'll give you here. So this is how you guys should sign up for LabFlow. The instructions are pretty good. When it asks you for an enrollment code, it will be our course number. So just the 5-digit course number. I've had one of you try this and you said it worked, so that's good news. If you do get stuck with this at any point, let me know. I'll do my best to help you. But the instructions are pretty good. I think you guys can figure it out. We've all signed up for plenty of websites, right? Okay. So then this is the exams section is where your exams will appear. Okay, so I have here how to set up Proctorio, the actual Proctorio link that will install the extension for your Chrome browser. One thing with this, I believe you have to use Chrome. Okay, so if that's going to be an issue, we need to try to figure out a way to solve that for you. Okay, and these are just some dummy exams that I have put up. None of this is real. Okay. And one thing before we do move on from Blackboard, I do have a discussion board set up for you guys. Just if you have a question like, hey, how did you solve this one? Or what was that formula again? Something like that. If you do want to share things with each other, that's perfectly fine. Just, keep it respectful. I think you guys can handle it that just fine. But that way you have some communication between you guys and you can actually talk with each other since you won't actually be seeing each other. That being said, if you do have, maybe you live with someone that's also taking the course or someone that's also taking this course, feel free to work together, especially with the lab. You'll have different data, but in terms of solving things, teach each other. That's one of the best things you can do to study for a class like this. Okay, so if you do happen to be in that kind of situation, do understand that I'm totally okay with that. Just obviously make sure when it comes to the exams and all that good stuff, make sure you're doing it on your own. Yeah. And I will have some instructions for you about how to get into the SLC. You have to go and enroll in their class, basically, and then you can go in through Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. So somewhere on your Blackboard, you should see this link for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. And that's how they're doing that tutoring stuff. Okay, so Sapling. This is what Sapling looks like. You've probably used it before if you're taking a class at TCC. But this is the section you're looking for. This 1411. And then, let's see, LabFlow. So just Google or go to labflow.com. I have a link in the Blackboard for you as well. And then just go through and create your login. And I think for the most part, everything in here will be pretty self-explanatory. If I find that I'm getting a lot of the same questions or that you guys are needing help with this, I will give you more help. But as far as I can tell, this is really going to be pretty self-contained. Okay, but if you do struggle with anything in there, just let me know, and I'll do my best to help you. Okay, so this probably the last thing here. This is posted on the Blackboard, and I emailed it to you as well. But these are the instructions about how to sign up for LabFlow. Pretty self-explanatory. Just go in, fill everything out, it's making an account. And then just enroll in my course. Make sure it has my name on it, 1411, all that good stuff. And then you should not have to pay anything for this. So as long as you use the 5-digit section number, which I have also posted on the Blackboard, you should not have to pay anything for this service. So TCC has decided that since you really weren't necessarily intending to have to do it this way, they would cover all the fees for that. Okay. So again, just use the 5-digit section number, which is what, 50010, something like that. Let's see, 50015. Okay, so I have again posted that on the Blackboard as well. Okay, so I think that is basically everything. If I do think of something maybe I didn't cover here, I will email that out to you or post something on the Blackboard about it. Again, that's pretty much how the class is going to go. So you can, for the most part, do the lecture part kind of at your own pace. But just know that the exams will be on certain days, and like I said, I'll give you a couple day period there to take those. And understand that the homework will be due at certain times. And then, of course, in the lab, we'll have certain due dates there. So make sure you keep an eye on those. But in terms of watching the lectures, you can kind of do those on your own time. So if you have a lot of time one day and not so much time the next day, you can maybe watch 2 of them or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is you need to do. Okay, if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. That's really going to be your best way to reach me. If there's anything you're still wondering about how the class is going to work, feel free to just ask me. That's perfectly fine. If I see a lot of you asking the same questions, I will make an announcement or something like that. Okay, so I hope you feel a little more comfortable with how things are going to go. Let me know if there's anything you're still not quite sure about. And I hope you have a successful semester. I'm going to do my best to make this just as close an experience to the classroom as I can. And good luck with the course.